That was about a year or so back. I was just after my first year of kite surfing. I had 2 Wilkinson's dolphins. I was out for about 4.5 hours that particular day. Certainly these two were with me the whole time. Yeah. Very inquisitive, very playful, very interested in the board and also the kites. If the kite's on the water, they will go up to the kite and nudge it around quite a bit. Yeah. I was just having a break and it's quite shallow water out there, so I was able to film them underwater. Yeah. Robert John Wilkinson, 43 years of age, and works as a helicopter mechanic for British International Helicopters at MPA. The islands have a heritage of sailing out of necessity, really back in the old days. You can see from some of the wrecks, like the Lady Liz here, again that was the main mode of transport back in the 1800s. I certainly get quite a kick out of having something which is wind related or wind powered. You're not burning any petrol or diesel or anything, so to really enjoy yourself. Look at some of the skyscapes we get here. I mean, you sort of get a pretty decent day or quite a stormy day or a beautiful day or whatever. I mean, how can you not look around and not appreciate what people have got here? It's just it's quite unique.
Sea lions don't normally eat penguins, but there's these 2 rogue guys that hunt the gentoos at the North Beach. The really big guy has a kind of tactic where he just lies in wait beneath where the waves break. So he just kind of goes up and down the beach like this, waiting for the penguins to come in. If you stand on the beach, the penguins come towards you, and the sea lion also comes towards you. And he usually tries to catch them just in the surf, just as they jump onto the beach. And if he doesn't manage that, he just charges out after them, and he usually catches them because they kind of panic, and they're a bit slow on land. I'm Georgina and we're on New Island, a small island off the west coast of the Falklands. It's a nature reserve, so a wildlife sanctuary. I am the manager of the island, so I just look after the logistics. So I'm employed by the New Island Conservation Trust, who are the owners of the island. Scientists from all over the world come to do work here. Those are our main visitors. And film crews, yeah, lots of BBC and things like that. It's a pretty crazy place. It feels, completely removed from the rest of the world in a way. Sometimes you think it's a little bit like being in a giant zoo.
A lot of the diving around here is very memorable. I think some of the best diving, New Island has been particularly good. Some of the interactions we have with the sea lions are fantastic. Sometimes they just come and play with you, sometimes they come and give you a hard time. So we've certainly had a few dives where they've just come down and literally sort of danced around in front of you for a few minutes, and you just sit there really sort of being entertained by them. Sometimes they get a little bit aggressive, but most of the time they're just inquisitive, really. Well, the wildlife here is stunning, really. In places like Bird Island, New Island here, just really remarkable wildlife.
I've been chased by a sea lion a few times. I didn't feel a bond with the sea lion, but I don't know about a bond, but I think the wildlife certainly becomes more at peace with you if you act in a peaceful way. If you rampage around an island and take shots as you go around, yes, you cover a lot of ground and you might see something unusual. But I think to get the best pictures, you want to get yourself comfortable with the wildlife, sit down with it. Half the time the wildlife will come towards you, and just watch. On sea lions I get up very early and look for the orcas at 4:30 in the morning. If you're sat inside and pop out for an hour, then you're unlikely to get the same photographs that somebody who goes out for 12 hours will. The Gentoo penguins are fantastic to be around because they exhibit quite a lot of character. This time of year, one of the best behaviours is one of the parents goes out to sea to feed. Instead of giving the chick the food straight away, it often makes the chicks chase the parents before feeding it. Whether it's for exercise or some other reason, it's a fascinating thing to see.
Once you've learned to cast the fly, you just got to get it out in the water, get a good length of line out. I was probably in my 40s when I started fly fishing. I used to do a lot of spinning before then, and then I started taking tourist sake fishing and fly fish, so I felt that I needed to learn how to fly fish if I was going to take people out, learn the techniques for down here and that. Yeah, it's a lot more sophisticated than just throwing a spinner out. In the rivers, you've got to get it in the right spot with the fish are likely to be lying. It's a sport for me, it's not a means of getting food or anything. Yeah, now and again I get into trouble for not taking them home, so now and again I take one.
There's no wild horses around now. In the days when I first went to work, so a lot of them horses, I wouldn't say they were wild, they were just unhandled. They'd just be running with a big troop until they were about 4-year-old, and then you'd get them in and start breaking them in. And the method then was you used to put a piece of hide in them around their bottom jaw called a pacow. You put the gear on them, and you had a mate with you on another horse, and someone opened the gate and you just went out the gate in a big charge really, and made it buck or run, and then you give it 3 good pulls to bring its head in, and that was basically doing the same job as I'm doing with the weights. It's more vicious and a lot of fun, but it's quite hard on the rider and the horse really. So. In them days, horses were actually used for work, for rounding up the sheep and even as private use for transport, but now horses are more used for recreational purposes rather than work. So, been a lot of good horses I've broke in for other people that sadly I've had to give them back to them. They are quite, so you get attached to some of them. When you get a real good one, it's a shame to see them go back to their owners, but that's the idea. You got them, they pay you for your service really.
The minefields here, they peg them out so massive, the chance of them you're actually stepping on is probably quite low. My name is Teslin Barkman, I'm 26 and I'm a journalist at Penguin News. The local newspaper, I suppose. Not a newspaper about penguins. I run to keep fit. For me it's a good chance to get out of town and listen to music and just switch off from everything and just kind of decompress. And I like long distance running just because after about 5 miles is when I really get into a run, and that's when I start to enjoy it. Well, the last time I did the marathon, I did it for the first time in 2010. And I think everyone kind of has that thing where they always like to do a marathon, so I thought, right, I'd never really run that far before. And I did the half marathon, which was about a month before. And so I had about a month of training between that and the marathon to get in shape, and I didn't actually have any proper trainers. I did the thing in walking boots, but I did it. The most southerly marathon in the world, and certainly the most challenging thing I've ever done. I'd really love to run a marathon somewhere where it's a bit flatter and a bit less windy, but I think if any marathon runners are looking for a challenge, we've had professionals come down here before and quit, not even halfway through, so you have to be pretty tough to do this one, I think. My favourite run is probably out from town along the bypass to the Lady Liz and then along to Engineers Point on the Narrows, because you get to go back via Gypsy Coast, so you get to see penguins and World War II guns and stuff like that. And it's really awesome.